What's good, Commanders fans? First regular season preview of the year. I'm super hyped, super excited, man. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. It was a good game of football last night with the Ravens and the Chiefs, and a great game should be tonight with the Packers and the Eagles. But of course, today's episode is brought to you by BetUS. Make sure you guys check out BetUS for all your sports wagering needs. Make sure you guys check out BetUS. But yeah, the games last night were really good. The toe by Isaiah Likely, man, that was super, super close. I do think he was out, but it was very close. It was very close. It was a good game. And then Lamar missed Zay Flowers on that pass. So very good game. Definitely was very close to going overtime, but definitely a great way to start the season off for sure. But yeah, let's get into the captains. Let's get to the injury report here. So Dan Quinn did announce the captains for the game. He's going to do it on a week-by-week basis. It's not going to be like the typical where you name like 5 guys, 3 guys from the defense, or 3 guys from the offense, or I don't think it was a team vote. They didn't say that. I think Dan Quinn was the decision maker, but they haven't really officially said who voted and who made the decision. But so it's gonna be Tress Way's not gonna be a captain. Jonathan Allen's not a captain for this week. It's gonna be Cleveland Farrell, Terry McLaurin, and also Jeremy Chin. Those are the captains to start off this week. So very interesting. Terry McLaurin, we already knew that was going to happen. Jeremy Reeves has always been a captain because he's been a great special teams guy, all-pro Revo. But Cleveland Farrell is the new face in town. And, Bobby Wagner, I would think Bobby Wagner, John Allen, some of those guys, maybe even Deron Payne. Jaden Daniels, the quarterback. Typically a quarterback is named the captain, but I kind of like that he's trying to make Jaden earn it. Not saying that Jaden hasn't earned it, but we've seen guys here in D.C. or on other teams that they just get the C on their chest because they're a quarterback. So this is intriguing that Tress didn't get one. Like I said, I'm not tripping over it, going crazy over it. It's week to week, so it's going to change. Tress is going to get the C on his chest eventually. Jaden's going to get the C on his chest one week or maybe all the next 16 games of the season. We'll see. And then I think Bobby Wagner definitely will get the C on his chest for one of the games, or probably at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, at least 10 of the games of the season. I would assume that Bobby Wagner is going to get the C on his chest, and Jonathan Allen as well. So that's that on the captains. Do want to get to the injury report here. So the biggest thing that we're looking for really is the update on Johnny Newton and Brandon Coleman. Cornelius Lucas, according to B reporters, did take first-team reps again today and yesterday. But looking at it, so this is what Dan Quinn said. This is from John Keim. He says, Johnny Newton worked in team drills today. Dan Quinn said they'll take his status into Sunday. Offensive tackle Brandon Coleman worked again. Marcus Mariota most likely is not going to play. It doesn't really matter in my opinion. You do have to have a backup. Jeff Driscoll will be the second quarterback Sunday. So that's most likely what's going to happen. Marcus Mariota is going to be out. John Keim tweeted out, Dan Quinn said they're planning on giving reps to both Cornelius Lucas and Brandon Coleman. He's absolutely ready to rip, Dan Quinn said of Brandon Coleman. Now, I'm not a big fan of both guys playing, and Zach Selby also tweeted out, said, Commanders, he also said that possibly it could be Brandon Coleman and Cornelius Lucas. I don't know why I'm blanking on Cornelius Lucas's name, but it could be both of them splitting snaps, which I'm not the biggest fan of that happening. I'd rather just be one guy. I'd rather Brandon Coleman just get all the snaps, but it's kind of just on who's ready to go. Brandon Coleman hasn't played in any preseason games. We talked about this many times over the past week. He hasn't played in any preseason games. Didn't play in the joint practices. We all know he's super talented and has the potential to be really, really good in this league, but it is hard for a rookie to just come in after not playing any preseason games and not playing in a lot of competitive practices over the offseason. So that's my biggest concern with Brandon Coleman coming in week 1 after he was week to week. Now, Johnny Newton, we'll see, because the injury they're talking about is not even the feet. It's not even the foot injuries that he had or the surgeries. Not on the injury report, it does say foot for rest on Wednesday. That's the injury, and then limited on Wednesday, and then Thursday he did not participate, and then today he went through drills. But they want to see basically a game time decision. Now, I'll be optimistic on Johnny, but he's the soft tissue injury coming off the foot surgery, so we'll see. I'm not going to speak anything into this. It's just a wait and see process with Jer'Zhan Newton, but there's a reason why he dropped in the draft, and we didn't even know about the other foot until rookie minicamp, and then the soft tissue injury just popped up a couple weeks ago that Dan Quinn reported. So we'll see. We need him in this game. We need him throughout this season. Like, he is going to be a chess piece. He is going to be an X factor when he is fully healthy. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to compare this to like a Curtis Samuel situation. I don't think it's to that extent, like some people have been panicking and saying. But it's just something to keep an eye on with Johnny Jer'Zhan Newton because he's going to be a big piece, man. Especially in this game, I really think there's some mismatches that we can take advantage of in the Buccaneers interior, and you would love to see, because Joe Witt Jr. said that either one is going to be on the field, like between Deron Payne and John Allen. Either guy is going to be on the field. He said one or the other at least at all times. So it could be Johnny and Deron, or Johnny and John, or John and Deron out there at the same time. Like, the biggest difference this year is supposed to be those guys getting a break. You know, not having to play 95, 96, 97% of the snaps. Now, we traded away John Ridgeway. So, you know, they believe that Johnny Newton's going to be available, and they have the two guys on the practice squad that they signed as well, like Sheldon Day and some other guy. So we'll see what happens with that. But, you know, like I said, it sounds like it really is a 50% chance on Johnny Newton. Brandon Coleman will play, so that is good news. That's good news. But he may be splitting reps with Cornelius Lucas. I was about to forget Cornelius Lucas' his name again. Shout out to Cornelius Lucas. Really good swing tackle, good backup tackle. We need a big game for him. We need a big game from both of them. Yeah, Zach Selby said, Dan Quinn said there's a realistic chance that both Brandon Coleman and Cornelius Lucas will get snaps on Sunday. So that is an intriguing approach there. So we'll see on that. It's not as bad as, like, you know, playing two quarterbacks out there, but you kind of want to get your guy warmed up and play basically the majority of the snaps instead of splitting snaps. So we'll see what happens with that. But all right, let's get into keys to victory here and matchups that are intriguing to me for week 1 against the Buccaneers. And of course, shout out to BetUS. Quick shout out to BetUS. First time users get 150% deposit bonus up to your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000 on BetUS. So make sure you guys check them out. Use the promo code YouTube150. So of course it's YouTube150. Make sure you guys check it out. So here are the props that I got for this game that I'm going to put in on BetUS. So first one for me is going to be Zach Ertz, man. And a big reason why I'm taking Zach Ertz on the over for his receiving yards at 23.5, which I think is a pretty low line. I don't think you're going to see that line for the rest of the season. Is Jaden Daniels had a really good connection, had a really good chemistry with Zach Ertz throughout training camp, from what we heard this whole offseason. You look at the Buccaneers defense, they struggle to stop the pass. This is where I think Jaden can have a really good game through the air. Not just running the football with his legs and RPOs and whatnot, but I think we can really get them through the air. So I would take the 23.5 receiving yards for Zach Ertz. Last year, Tampa Bay allowed the 3rd highest passing yards per game, the 8th highest yards per attempt, and the 12th most passing touchdowns in the league. They also ranked 21st in pressure rate last year. Now, I get it. Those are last season stats, but they brought back a lot of guys from that same defense last year. I know Vita Vea is legit. Antoine Whitfield is legit. Jamel Dean is a solid player. And Jordan Whitehead is a solid player, but they still give up a lot of yards. Look at Noah Brown, what he did last year to that team. Noah Brown that was one of Noah Brown's best games. Look at what C.J. Stroud did to that defense last year. Now, I guess C.J. Stroud's a great player, but a lot of teams were really able to cut up that Buccaneers secondary. Noah Brown had one of his career games against the Buccaneers. So I think Zach Ertz will have a good game against them. Also, Terry McLaurin, you always got to take the over on him with 58.5 receiving yards. Take the over on him. And then, unfortunately, I do have Mike Evans getting over 66.5 receiving yards against our secondary. You know, Emmanuel Forbes and Ben St. Juste. I just don't think it's a good matchup against Mike Evans. So I would smash the over on the Michael Evans over for sure. And like I said, make sure you guys check out BetUS, 125% sign-up bonus for first-time users for your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 on BetUS. Use that promo code YouTube150. All right, so keys to victory. I'm going to start out with the defense here and make it simple. So limit Mike Evans, limit Chris Godwin. But the biggest key, I would not put Emmanuel Forbes on Mike Evans. I think that's a mistake that the previous regime did last year, putting him in bad situations, putting him on A.J. Brown, putting him on DJ Moore. It's just not a good matchup. It's not a good matchup. I know Mikey Sanders still, he might be on Chris Godwin for the most part, or guys like Jalen McMillan, because they'll be in the slot. But at all costs, do not line up Emmanuel Forbes against Michael Evans, especially in the red zone. That was a huge thing that really hurt us. I would ease Emmanuel Forbes in. We saw him get cooked or give up a touchdown against a third-string wide receiver with the Jets. Struggled against Garrett Wilson with the Jets as well in the joint practice, but had a good joint practice in the Dolphins game. But I think just to start the season off, just ease him in. I would match up Ben St. Juste, another physical corner, against a physical specimen in Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, we'll see how Emmanuel Forbes matches up against him. Michael Davis, he's coming off the bench, so we'll see how he plays, but I'm excited to see Mikey Sanders still play. Force a turnover. Ball is life. We didn't force many turnovers in preseason. It is what it is. It's the preseason, but ball is life. That's what Joe Witt Jr. has been preaching so much. Forcing a fumble, punching the ball, catching the football. We had the judge machine for the DBs. Forcing a turnover is going to be huge. One of the turnover battle, I know that's an obvious one. We got to force a turnover on Baker Mayfield. He had a lot of turnover-worthy plays last year. Didn't turn the ball over much last year. He did a good job of that. Baker Mayfield had a great season. That was like one of his best seasons of his career. And I respect Baker Mayfield a lot. I know a lot of people don't respect him. You know, the old progressive commercials and, you know, how cocky he was with the Browns and whatnot. And then he had a fall from grace with other teams, and his career looked like it was almost over. And then he had a resurgence with the Buccaneers last year on a smaller deal, and then he's got a really nice contract. And he played really well last year at times. So I do respect Baker Mayfield. I think he is good enough to, you know, get the ball to Michael Evans, of course, like last year, and Chris Godwin. But we gotta force a turnover. Whether it's an interception, force a fumble, we gotta force a turnover. This defense has to make ball his life, like Joe Witt Jr. preached all year. Those are really the keys for me. And then that matchup that I really, really like for our defensive tackles, and if Johnny Newton plays, I would love to exploit this mismatch, is Cody Mauch. Last year, per PFF, he was ranked 74th out of 79 guards, so he had a really struggle. He struggled last year. And then also Ben Bredesen, who they brought in this year, he was 75th out of 79 out of left guards per PFF. So they were both one of the worst guards in the league last year. Graham Barnes, a rookie, has a lot of potential, can be a really good player in this league. But our DTs, we got to baptize that guy. We have to get interior pressure on Baker Mayfield. We have to pressure him, make him get the ball out quick, rattle him, force a turnover, get some sacks, and hit him and get to Baker Mayfield. We really have to get pressure on him so he's not able to just sit there and pick us apart and get the ball to Mike Evans and get the ball to Jalen McMillan or Trey Palmer. Like, they got weapons. And Rachaad White, watch him out of the backfield as well. Watch him out of the backfield. So Frankie Louvu getting pressure, Cleveland Farrell getting in the mix, Dorrance Armstrong. I'm excited to see what he does. Dante Fowler, we haven't seen him much, so I'm excited to see what he does. And then Bobby Wagner rushing the passer as well. Jamin Davis getting in the mix too. We got to manufacture pressure because we don't have like one dominant pass rusher, a perennial pass rusher. I know Dorrance Armstrong and Frankie Louvu can get to the quarterback for sure, but we have to manufacture pressure for sure. So force a turnover. Ball is life. Red zone defense, bend don't break. I think there's gonna be a lot of situations we're gonna be in bend don't break defense situations where they are gonna be moving the ball up and down because they have a lot of weapons like Rachaad White, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Like they have really good weaponry. Tristan Wirfs is a legitimate left tackle, one of the best left tackles in the game right now, and the right tackle Luke is a really good right tackle too. So I really respect their offense and the talent that they have on the team. They had a good season last year. They were down down in the water last year at like 3-7, and then they resurged and made the playoffs with one of the worst divisions in football. But I do respect the Buccaneers for sure, and I do respect Todd Bowles as a head coach. Limit the run game. They didn't really run the ball well last year, but they did bring in Bucky Irving, so that could change. But like I said, getting stops in the red zone is going to be huge. All right, offensively, I'm going to keep this simple too. Now, offensive line, I'm looking at the way they called the game last night with a lot of illegal formations. Like Brandon Coleman, if he is starting, he has to be ready for that. They're looking to call stuff. They called that more on the Ravens last night than they did with the Chiefs, but they have to be ready for that illegal formation that they've been calling. They've done, for the most part, offensive line did a good job with that in the preseason. I remember the Dolphins, they called it twice in the Patriots game. The ref called the guy out twice. So that's a big key for me for the offensive line is staying disciplined, no false starts, no illegal formations, line up the right way or whatever the new rule is this year. That's going to be huge. Get the ball to Terry McLaurin. Get the ball to your best receiver, man. I don't think there's anybody that can check him on the Buccaneers for sure. You got to get him the football. You got to manufacture touches. You got to give him the football. So to start the game off, do the opposite of what was done last year. Get your best player the football. Get Terry the football. Get Jaden comfortable to start up. A lot of quick hitters, getting the ball out quickly, and use Jaden's legs. I expect a couple of design runs for Jaden, some RPOs, the touchdown run that he had, and then the Dolphins game where he had the 13-yard run, but Dan Quinn wasn't happy that he did not slide. I'm expecting some of that to put pressure on the Buccaneers defense. The Buccaneers have a really good run defense with Vita Vea. They have a stout defense. Really good linebackers as well, but we do have to establish the run. That's going to be the tough part is running the football, but we have to establish. Don't shy away just because they're stopping it. We have to use the run to set up the pass. I do think there's going to be some passing lanes. There's going to be some opportunities down the field, but Jaden really has to capitalize on it for sure. Convert on third downs is an obvious one, but Jaden using his legs and also sliding and touchdowns and not field goals. We have to finish in the red zone. That's the biggest thing that I love about our red zone offense. It's going to be really good this year because you have Jaden, Austin Eckler, B-Rob. Use those guys, putting pressure on the defense as other runners. You have to count as Jaden as a runner. For Jaden as a runner, B-Rob as a runner, of course, and then Austin Eckler. He's going to put a lot of pressure on the defense out there for sure. And then other receivers got to step up. Who's going to step up other than Terry? Is it going to be Noah Brown, who had a good game against the Bucs last year? Luke McCaffrey, Diami. Who's going to step up? It's going to be Zach Ertz. Eckler is a receiver. Target Zach Ertz over the middle, and then John Bates. I think he's going to get involved a little bit too, a little bit more in this offense than Ben Sinnott as well. Who this wide receiver committee, other than Terry, who's going to step up and make plays? Who's going to step up and make plays? And like I said, they traded Carlton Davis too, which did make their secondary weaker. So I really think that Jaden's going to be able to take advantage of some plays downfield. I think there's going to be some opportunities downfield that Jaden can really take advantage of against this defense. And of course, we got to protect Jaden and keep him upright. That's an easy one too, because they're going to bring a blitz. They're going to bring the blitz for sure. Todd Bowles likes to bring a lot of pressure, so you have to be wary for that. But a big thing is Cliff's game plan. What is he going to do? How he's going to make things easy for Jaden to start off as a rookie. He's going to be doing some up-tempo, no huddle like he did in the preseason. What are some different things he's going to bring out there and show to help out the young quarterback? So that's what I want to see. Getting the ball out quickly, some quick hitters to Terry. And then is Jaden going to check out of a play and look for Diami downfield? So that's going to be huge for me to as well. And then my biggest keys really for coaching is coaching. I said this every year, every game last year. Every game last year, I say coaching. 2-point conversions, whether to kick a field goal or not, whether to throw a challenge flag, whether to go for it on 4th and 1 or 4th down, 4th and goal. What decisions is Dan Quinn going to make out there? One of the knocks on Dan Quinn with the Falcons, which is years and years ago, and Dan Quinn always talked about how he's learned and made improvements from then, is something I really want to see from Dan Quinn. How is his decision making? How quick is he to throw the challenge flag on different instances and different situations? And then clock management, the 2-minute drill, the 2-minute warning. How does he manage the clock as well? Because that's something that was a knock on Dan Quinn. So how does he manage that? Does he have an advisor with him as well? Joe Witt Jr. is going to be in the booth on the defensive side as a defensive coordinator. Cliff's going to be on the field, so we're going to be paying attention to things like that as well. But I do want to see that. And Cade York is going to be huge in this game too. The weather, we'll see. I think the weather's going to be fine. They say it's going to rain and some thunderstorms, but I think by 4 o'clock we'll be fine. I'm not a weatherman or anything like that, but I just have a feeling that the weather's going to be fine. Like even last night in Kansas City, the weather was bad, but of course when the game started, the weather was fine. So I think that's going to be the situation in this game. I think the weather's going to be bad during the day or whatever, but once it hits 4 o'clock, I think the weather will be fine for the game against the Buccaneers. So, all right, let's get to my first prediction here for the season. I know you guys get upset if I don't pick us to win, but I'm always realistic, guys. I'm always realistic. Like I said, keys are getting the ball out of Jaden's hands quick, Jaden using his legs. If it's 3rd and 9, this is where I think Jaden's going to have to use his legs. Where, like Adam Peters said, he can take the soul out of a defense. And I think there's going to be some instances where it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, or 3rd and 12 where Jaden is going to run for a first down. I think it's going to happen at least 2 to 3 times. I think Jaden's going to have a really good game. I think he's ready for this. He's built for this. I think he's going to have a good game. This is a good matchup for him. This is a good test. But I do think the Buccaneers secondary is very susceptible, and I think he can definitely take advantage of that. Some downfield throws to Terry or Diami or whoever, and Zach Ertz over the middle for sure. All right, so I do have us losing this game, guys. I think we're going to lose 23-20. I just think the secondary is just not a good matchup. I think Mike Evans is going to have a touchdown. Chris Godwin probably will have a touchdown as well. Forbes or whoever's going to get beat, whether it's Ben St. Jude's, Michael Davis, or Noah I, whoever. Mikey Samuelson's going to have a good game, but I think, unfortunately, we just don't have the secondary to keep up with and match up with these guys. I'm excited for Jeremy Chin. I like Quan Martin a lot, too. But I just think the corners, we'll see. Can we manufacture enough pressure to help out Emmanuel Forbes and not put him in bad situations? Or will Emmanuel Forbes step up and make some plays and get out there, tackle, not gamble, and be disciplined and make plays and not look like he did last year against A.J. Brown and DJ Moore? So those are the biggest question marks for me. So that's why I'm reserved on picking us to win. I got us losing 23-20, a very, very close game. I can see it going either way. Either way, I could really see it going either way. But I think Jaden plays really, really well. I think he has a really good game. But all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Once again, make sure you guys check out BetUS. Make sure you guys use the promo code YouTube150. 125% sign-up bonus for first users on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. on BetUS, so make sure you guys check it out. And then I will see you guys here. If they announce what they decide to do with Johnny Newton, Jerzon Newton, I will make a video on that, on his status, the game time decision. But if not, then I will see you guys Sunday at about probably 7:30, 7:45, something like that. So hopefully we are 1-0 undefeated, but I am I have a feeling we're going to be the Giants, as we should, next week. So I will get that out the way. But this game I just have is taking the L. All right, Chess. Health Commanders, have a great week, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Health Commanders, peace.